Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the of Wednesday Night Mayhem live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. And guys, this is going to be a little different version of Wednesday Night Mayhem than you would have expected. Traditionally, we would talk about, NXT and AEW Dynamite. However, with AEW Dynamite been pushed off till Saturday, we will, or at least pushed off till Friday night. We won't be doing Dynamite tonight. We will be giving you NXT though, but we're also going to be talking about the AEW Double or Nothing show that went down on Sunday night. So that's how we're going to start it. So we're going to do We're going to do AEW Double or Nothing tonight. We're also going to get NXT on Saturday night this week. We're going to have SmackDown Live and the AEW Dynamite. And then after that, hopefully by next week, everything will be back to normal and that we'll go back through our normal routines. But with that said, we're just going to dive right in. We're going to start it off with the first official match of the night. There was a pre-show fight that was a really good pre-show match. Anthony, if you want to get into this, you're more than welcome to, but we're going to open form this instead of doing it the normal way that we normally do it. It was Serena Deeb, the NWA Women's World Champion, going up against Rio. Serena Deeb wins the match in 14 minutes and 5 seconds. This was a great jump off to the night, and for anything that went down. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how this plays out. Serena Deeb wins. Riho. A lot of rumors were going around that this could have been her last match in AEW. However, according to some reports, she has actually decided to stay in the United States. So she's now a full-time resident of the USA. However, as of right now, she has not re-signed with AEW. So we actually do not know the future of Rio as it pertains to her as of right now. So she's now technically a free agent. She could sign with any company right now. We'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. The first official match of Double or Nothing was Adam Hangman Page versus Brian Cage. And the Hangman, Adam Page, wins the match in 12 minutes. A solid opener, good match. It was all right to say the very least. But we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. So, Anthony Florio, it is all yours. Big win for the Hangman, Adam Page, as he's trying to rebuild himself back up to the number one contendership for the AEW World Title, and he just knocked off the man that beat him to knock him off the number one perch not too long ago.
Yes, sir. Anyways, when it comes to that pre-show match between Serena Deeb and Riho, I mean, that was a fantastic buy-in match. The crowd, I mean, how great was it to have a full capacity crowd for the first time since this awfulness started? And I mean, that match, no pun intended, set the tone for what ended up being an unforgettable night from start to finish. And to me, that was that was the best buy-in match I've ever seen as of right now. I mean, there could be some other buy-in matches that could surpass it, but I don't think it's going to anytime soon. I mean, that was a 4-star buy-in match. Serena working as the heel, obviously, and Riho as the lovable baby face that we've all grown to know and love, since AEW started. And man, what a great match that was. I mean, that crowd was so red hot for that match. It was unbelievable, and the backdrop was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it was a sunny night, and we got to see that little bit of sunshine in there, and those two shined. I'll tell you that right now. So I could say it was the second greatest women's match I've ever seen in AEW, only behind the infamous Dr. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa Lights Out match from a few months ago. So solid 4 stars for that. Now, as far as Hangman and the Machine go, that was 3 3/4, teetering on 4. Fantastic opener. I mean, crowd was red hot for this as well. But then again, they were red hot for damn near all night. And Taz was awesome on commentary. I mean, I loved how he worked. I love how, he was overly rooting for his guy and all that. And how upset he got about the Machine, saying, I don't want any help. I want to do this on my own. And it told a great story. And that was a great, definitely told a great story in that one. And not much more to say here. So 3 3/4 to 4 stars. Big win for the Hangman. And definitely puts him back up the rankings. And we'll have to wait and see how better up he'll go in the rankings. But so 3 3/4 to 4 for that one. So not much more to say. MF, hit me up with the next match, and I'll be more than happy to start it off.
Oh my goodness, and boy, do you got one to start off with. The AEW World Tag Team titles on the line.
Sir.
The Young Bucks going up against Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. The Young Bucks successfully defend the titles in 21 minutes. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
4.5 stars, MF. This was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this ranks up there as one of the greatest World Tag Team title matches that I've seen in AEW. I mean, I would say this was maybe the second best AEW World Tag Team title match, only behind the Young Bucks against Hangman and Omega from Revolution 2020. Nothing's going to come close to that. This damn near came close to it. Another 5 or 10 minutes or so and a little more, then we would have been pulling the trigger on that, hands down. But let me tweak that a little bit. I'm going to give that between 4 1/4 to 4.5 stars. I mean, the Shakespearean drama was great. Crowd was red hot for this, and I mean, the action was great throughout, and man, fun match. And Don Callis, always a riot on commentary. I mean, I can get away with this because Bullock's not here, and we all know how much Michael Bullock absolutely loathes and detests Don Callis. Very high on Bullock's hit list, as you know, and but he was a riot on commentary, man. I mean, and I love how JR and Shivani, give him the business during that. I mean, that's a great heel commentator right there. I mean, I love it. Just like with Taz in the earlier bout. But 4 1/4, teetering on 4.5. Another one of the fights of the night. One of the best World Tag Team title matches I've seen. I think I may need to rethink when it comes to, all-time World Tag Team title matches. It's definitely in my top 5, no doubt about it. The best one is still Hangman and Omega against the Bucks from Revolution 2020, and right behind that, I would have to say, was the Young Bucks and FTR from last November's Full Gear, when the Bucks won the titles. So, but this is within the top 5 for sure, no doubt about it. So, amazing match. Not much more to say here. 4 1/4, teetering on 4.5. Not much more to say. MF, it was a mix of technical, aerial, when it comes to the Bucks, and of course the be a man grunt mentality of the challengers.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with that. I think I'm only going to give it 4 1/4. I'm not going to go any more higher than that. There was a little bit of an overbooked finish at the end. I really didn't care too much about, and the outcome was never in doubt. The Bucks were going to win the match. They were gonna get over. It's kind of a little bit of a disappointment here, but I get it. I know why they're going to do that. Moxley, his wife Renee, is due any moment now. Like she's about to have her baby any day now, from what I heard. So I mean, it's only a matter of time before she has her daughter, and Moxley's going to be out of action for a little bit. So I mean, but not too long. Not too long. He said that he won't be long. He won't be out for a very very long time. I don't know. I just feel like this was it was solid. It was a 4-star match. I wish it could have been. I'm not as overly inclined as you guys were about the match. I felt like it could have been a little better, but I mean, it was what it is, and I'm pretty happy with the outcome. Nothing more to add there. So right after that, and the next fight in this show we had was this was the match that was going to determine the Casino Battle Royale, and the winner receives a future AEW title match. So when we first started everything, we had the clubs, the diamonds, the hearts, the spades, and of course the Joker. But I'm not going to go in the order of how they entered in the match. I'm just going in the order that they were, I guess, the each of the suits. So the clubs were we had was Matt Seidel, Matt Caster, Dustin Rose, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Christian Cage. The diamonds were Sepernetico, Nick Camarillo, Preston Vance, number 10, Isaiah Cassidy, and Matt Hardy. The Hearts was the Varsity Blondes, Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr., Cole Cabana, Anthony Bowens, and Penta El Zero Miedo. And then the Spades we had was Mark Quinn, Aaron Solo, Evil Uno, Lee Johnson, Jungle Boy, and the Joker was Leo Rush. Yes, Leo Rush, the Joker. So when it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 23 minutes and 30 seconds was Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy outlasted Christian Cage to win the Casino Battle Royale, and in 2 weeks, he will receive an AEW World Heavyweight title match. Unbelievable. The outcome, yeah, everybody had Christian Cage winning this one. I think a lot of people thought Christian Cage was going to win it. And when it was all said and done, it was not meant to be. It was a total upset. And it was Jungle Boy from Jurassic Express winning it all. Um, I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon that he won it all. He's one of the most hardest working guys in AEW today. This man deserves the opportunity. And Anthony Florio, this is one of those nice surprises. But for me, Jungle Boy is probably one of the most underrated guys. But man, what a spotlight he just shined on Double or Nothing on Sunday night.
What's your rating?
I'd probably say about 3 3/4 to 4.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, mainly because of the surprise factor. I mean, nobody really thought that Jungle Boy Jack Perry was going to win this thing. I mean, we all had Christian winning it. I had him winning it. Bullock had him winning it. I'm sure you had him winning as well, MF, and I think Derek had him as well. And but man, what a nice surprise! I mean, a very hardworking young man, fun to watch. I mean, man, can you imagine him and Omega? I mean, that's got 5-star potential right there. And we're going to be getting that on free television. We don't have to wait until the next pay-per-view, which is September the 5th. We don't have to wait 3 months to see this thing on the next pay-per-view all out, which will be returning to Chicago, Illinois. So, but anyways, battle royals are always tough to rate, but this one got a decent amount of time. Crowd was hot for it, and I mean, what a fantastic battle royale and a great moment. That crowd popped big when Jungle Boy won. Biggest win of his career to date, and MF, it could lead to an even bigger win in a couple of weeks, whenever that Dynamite airs. If it'll air if it'll be yet another Friday night show, or if it's going to be back on Wednesday. It's not going to be anytime soon because of the NBA playoffs. I mean, who knows when it will be back on Wednesday again, honestly. But I know it's an inconvenience for us, but still, it is what it is. 3 3/4 to 4. MF, I'm gonna step out for just a moment, and then I'm gonna hop back in on my traditional browser. I had to do it on my phone here because I couldn't get into my browser on my laptop until now. It's up and running, and I'm just gonna exit for just a moment, and then I'll be right back in. So 3 3/4 to 4. Great moment for Jungle Boy and MF. Biggest win of his young career to date. Could lead to an even bigger win in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it absolutely can, no doubt about it. So now we're gonna dive right into the next match of the evening. This was for this was for the AEW. This is actually a one-on-one match. This was the American Nightmare. Cody Rhodes going up against Anthony Ogogo, and it was Cody Rhodes winning the match in 10 minutes and 55 seconds. Anthony, not a good match. I mean, it was a standard predictable match. But the one thing that I was hearing from a lot of the people was, why didn't you not let Anthony Ogogo get the moment? Why did you not let him win this match? Standard AEW booking, you let Cody go over. Yawn.
You really want to know? Well,
I know why. He's one of the executive VPs of AEW. That's why. I know.
Live crowd, first capacity crowd, and the whole 9 yards, and that definitely had a major impact on the rating. To me, if I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, this was the worst fight of the night for me. This was about 2.5, maybe 3 at best. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, it was predictable. I mean, I had a feeling Cody was gonna go over anyway. I mean, American Dream and the whole 9 yards, and the fan and the full crowd back, and that's really all there is to say on that. And just give me 1 minute here. Ogogo, he proved there was no stage too big or lights too bright for him, and overcame a rib injury to turn in a strong performance that should have fans genuinely excited about his future in the business. He sold well, his offense was perfectly timed, and he held his own against one of the measuring sticks of AEW. Cody went to the ring with the intention being to put Ogogo over as a force, and he did that. Did he need to win the match? No. But there was no way a guy named the American Dream was losing on Memorial Day weekend. Even if he more closely resembled Homelander from The Boys than America's Greatest Hope. Rhodes was great, Ogogo was superb, and the match proved better than expected, although it wasn't the best. You can't ask for more than that, given the less than stellar creative behind it. So, for me, default worst fight of the night, 2.5 to 3. So, not much more to say. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, this was about 2.5. I mean, this was not as good as I thought it was going to be, but I mean, it was fine for what it was worth, and I mean, it was all right. It was all right. It was just, I don't know. I just felt like they really, um, it just really just rubbed me the wrong way how this thing came out, more than anything else. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna spew over what just happened here. It was fine. It was a good match. It was a good battle. It was a good everything. Everything that came out of this was fine. But again, 2.5 stars. I really got nothing more to add here, so we're just gonna dive right into the next fight. That was see, I believe this was one of the championship matches after this. Yeah, it was Miro versus Lance Archer for the TNT title. Miro wins the match in 9 minutes and 50 seconds. This was disappointing. I'm disappointed with this one. This is another 2.5 star match. I really, really thought this was going to be more than what they gave us. I mean, I don't mind the match. It was a fine battle. It was good in what it needed to be, but oh god, the match was short, and I just did not like this one. Two big men, be a man fight. This should have been at least 15 to 20, and they only gave us half that. I'm very disappointed. Maybe I'm being a little harsh on it, but I could only give this 2.5 stars. I just felt like AEW hit a rut at this point in the show. So there's really nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours. I probably underscored this, but I just felt like this was a letdown for me. At least for me, this was a letdown.
I agree with you. This was another 2.5 to 3, but it was a quality battle between two big, ferocious competitors with the sole purpose of beating the hell out of each other. They achieved that and then some. The champion needed a declarative victory over a guy bigger than him to prove he doesn't just excel against smaller competitors. This was that win with a decisive KO victory to boot. Miro has the potential to be one of the faces of AEW moving forward if he can maintain this momentum. The world title run that evaded him elsewhere is very much in play if he can continue kicking ass while showing flashes of that enormous personality Vince McMahon and company never really explored deeper. So, another 2.5 to 3. And yeah, I mean, way too short a match. And, we were hoping for a chaotic, be a man fight, but all we got was a quality match at best. So 2.5, 3. So second worst fight of the night for me. So not much more to say. MF, I think we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes now here.
Yeah, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes, the heart of the event, and we started it off with the AEW Women's World Title match, as it was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, going up against the defending champion Hikaru Shida, the winner of the bout in 17 minutes and 20 seconds, and new AEW Women's World Champion Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. She got the lockjaw on Shida, and Shida tapped out. But Anthony, a lot of people were happy that Britt won, but some people were not so happy with the way that the match ended. There was definitely a little bit of some chicanery. Rebel, not Reba, stuck her nose in way too many times for my liking in this match.
But it was still a fun match, though. I mean, this was a 3 3/4 to 4-star match. Expectations that Baker would win the title were high. After a year-long journey to fan acceptance in the top of the women's division, Baker developed into one of the best characters in AEW and earned the right to hold gold. Baker and Hikaru Shida mastered the crowd, expertly putting the dramatic near falls where they needed to in exchange for the loudest reactions of the bout. The execution of the high spots were superb. The crowd was on fire for Baker, and Shida proved why she was the woman trusted to carry the division on her back for over a year. This was excellence, both booking and in-ring perspective, and the women involved earned all of the praise social media fans and critics alike are destined to send their way. 3 3/4 to 4 stars. Not much more to say. MF, let's move on to our next match.
All right, with that said, we do indeed move on. The next up we had was Darby Allin and Sting versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. Darby Allin and Sting wins the match in 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, it was an okay fight. It was an okay match. I kind of feel like Sting. Look, God bless him. He's definitely, he's not a spring chicken anymore. And I'm a huge Stinger fan, no doubt about it. They got to do cinematic matches with Sting from now on. I just feel like they do better. He does better in cinematic stuff and not with live action. I mean, Darby carried the match, which was fine. Sting had a couple of moments in the bout, but he looked so sloppy in the ring, man. I would not encourage him to do any more stuff in the ring. I think Darby can definitely carry his own. I think all the other guys did really well. It's time for Sting to stay out of the ring. Unless you're going to do it cinematically, then I'm more than welcome to do that. But as far as him doing it with a live crowd or anything like that, no more. He should not be in the ring ever again. It was a 2.5-star match for me. Anthony, it's yours.
If anyone ever questions Sting's love for professional wrestling, they need to look no further than this match. A guy with an already established legacy, he returned because he had unfinished business between the ropes. After injury appeared to end his career prematurely in 2016, he fought for the right to get back into the ring and went to the company that would allow him to do just that. In his first match in front of a crowd in 6 years, he showed off and showed out. He threw his body over the ropes with reckless abandon. He bumped, he hit his signature offense, and he made that electrifying babyface comeback as only he can. After a solid tag team match that asked Darby Allin to be the tackling dummy for Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, Sting entered, put Sky away, and earned the victory he has waited for over 6 years. The match was everything it needed to be, with an emotional and well-deserved outcome for one of wrestling's most beloved superstars. With all due respect, MF, I think you underscored this bout. This was a 3.5 stars match for me. Very much enjoyed the match, and Sting didn't look as bad as you think he did. And so that's all there is to say on that. So I'm sure this will be I'm hopeful this will be our only disagreement of the night, but I enjoyed this match a little more than you did, MF. So 3.5 for me. So not much more to say. Now let's get into our huge double main event. And oh boy. Oh, what a double main event. Woo!
Starting it off with the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, Kenny Omega puts the title on the line against Pac and Orange Cassidy. Kenny Omega wins the match in 27 minutes even. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
To me, this was the fight of the night right here. 4.5 stars. I mean, I know a lot of people are not going to be fans of the finish. I know, MF, you weren't a fan of the finish. I understand. I know where you're coming from, but it's not like he cheated to win. I mean, he used a brilliant counter move to get the win. I mean, I know you would have liked to have seen a more decisive win. I know you would have liked to have seen a one-winged angel or something like that, but whatever you got to do to win. I mean, he beat him with a clean wrestling move. It's not like he pulled the tights or anything like that. But anyways, if this was a test run to see if fans would accept Orange Cassidy in a main event role in a big-time world title bout, freshly squeezed past it with flying colors. The fans were red hot for him. He fired up when necessary and had them buying into the possibility that he could actually win the title. A lot of that was due to the work of Kenny Omega and Pac, neither of whom hesitated to sell for him. They put over his offense to perfection, making it feel every bit like he belonged in there with two of the best. Omega winning via cheap roll-up after incessantly cheating like he did moments earlier is such a great bit of heel booking. He celebrated with his buddies in the Elite like he actually earned the win, despite coming within seconds of dropping the title on numerous occasions over the course of the match. We knew that with the talent involved, this match would be awesome. It did not disappoint. What we did not know was how well Cassidy would perform in the big spot, and more importantly, how wrestling fans would react to him in that position on the card. We got our answer, and now it should not be out of the realm of possibilities that freshly squeezed remains in or around the top of the card, having proved he belonged in the biggest match of his career to date. If we had another few more minutes, a couple of more near falls there, here and there, maybe I would have pulled 5. But the finish, yes, it was rushed, but brilliantly done. I mean, you're thinking 1 minute, oh my god, it's gonna happen, and then he pulls the rug out from underneath you. Absolutely brilliant. It kind of reminded me of the Triple H and Jeff Hardy match from No Mercy 2008. We thought Jeff Hardy had won the title, but then Hunter rolled over with a move similar to what Kenny Omega did to Orange, and he squeaked it out. That's exactly what the Cleaner did in this one. I had flashbacks to that match. Brilliantly done. 4.5 stars. Fight of the night. MF, you want to talk about that hot crowd? I mean, they were hot almost for damn near all of the show. I mean, there were some points where, you know, they were a little out of it. But boy, oh boy, you want to talk about the crowd being hyped? They were hyped and then some for this one.
Oh boy. I just can't get over the ending. And it's not, and the thing is that the blatant cheating of Kenny Omega using every single title to blast Pac and then to do a roll-up on for the end, I'm sorry, that took a bitter taste in the mouth. The fans weren't buying it. As a matter of fact, they were yelling out bullshit, and that was bullshit. I'm sorry, Anthony Florio. I'm going to punish this. 4 stars. Yes, it gets the fight of the night, but the ending was so horrible. I cannot defend this. And for this to be for an AEW World Heavyweight Championship match, I cannot, in the life of me, give anything worse than this. Yes, the match was great. Yes, the body of work was fantastic. Yes, the story was amazing. Everything was great until the end. We all were, because I was watching this with a bunch of my Discord buddies, and we all were furious. We all were not happy with this ending. We all felt like this was horrible. And anybody with a real conscience would never, ever stand for overbooked BS like this. Now, I get about the thing, but the whole setup was horrible. The whole setup was absolutely wrong. From the minute Omega laid out the referee to Don Callis throwing all 4 belts, the Impact Wrestling World title, the TNA World Heavyweight title, the AAA Mega Campeon, and the AEW World Heavyweight title, all 4 belts to get blasted to Pac, and then to roll up Kenny Orange Cassidy for the win? No. I can't. I cannot stand that. I will not stand for that. That is, I know that's negative heel heat. I know that's massive heel heat. I know that's what you want. I'm never going to stand for anything like that. That's something I just can't do. No, I can't. I have to draw the line on that one. And this is where the line is drawn. No. Emphatically. Nothing more to say. We just move on along to the main event, which was the Stadium Stampede, Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. Inner Circle wins it 31 minutes and 30 seconds. All right. I will openly admit this. I think the first Stadium Stampede was better than this, but I will give it about 4.5 stars. I thought there was some good spots. I thought there was some great action. I thought that, you know, when it came to a lot of the segments, there was some nice cameos. I loved, and I know, Anthony, you and I were definitely shocked to see this, but when Chris Jericho and MJF were fighting, and we not only got to see Urban Meyer, the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, but we also saw Charlie Strong, the offensive coordinator, the OC of the Jaguars, There was a nice little moment there when they were fighting inside the office. Um, and that was a cool moment. Then, of course, they were fighting in the bar, in the new nightclub, which actually is a brand new nightclub. They just opened that up. Conan on the ones and twos. You saw a little bit of an LAX reuniting, and then of course that little battle between Conan and Tully Blanchard. Who knows how that plays out? Um, there was a few good moments. I loved the fight between Sean Spears and Sammy Guevara, and where they had that row of chairs, and the chairman. And I thought that was a nice little battle there. Um, there was a few good moments in the whole thing, but at the end of the day, big ups to Sammy Guevara. Guevara getting the winning fall, winning for the team. You want to talk about a monumental moment for him? I mean, that's a strap the jetpack to the back. You're going straight to the moon, son, for that win. Nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
These two factions had the impossible task of living up to the lofty expectations set by last year's Stadium Stampede. That match, a brilliantly creative and extraordinarily executed bit of sports entertainment excellence, won Match of the Year awards, and deservedly so. This match was different. It left behind much of the creativity and humor of its predecessor, instead opting for a more straightforward grudge match that fit the hatred that existed between the two teams. Add to it Inner Circle's desperation to remain a faction in AEW, and you have a contest totally different. And it worked. It was physical, violent. Oh, hold on a minute. All right. And it worked. It was physical, violent, still mixed in a few jokes where applicable, and above all, shined the brightest possible spotlight on Sammy Guevara. The Spanish God has been one of the most talented young stars in professional wrestling over the last 2 years, and his babyface turn created a ton of buzz for him. Here, he withstood tremendous punishment by Sean Spears to deliver an emphatic finish and ensure Inner Circle's existence for the foreseeable future. The booking, from Jericho and MJF's beef taking up a good chunk of the bout to Guevara's triumphant moment in the spotlight, was fantastic and brought an end to the rivalry in fitting fashion, or at least one can hope. Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle is done now, and any hint that it may drag on past this will only serve to undo what was successfully executed in the main event of a superb Double or Nothing pay-per-view. This was about 4 to 4.25 stars for me. I just thought that that the three-way for the World Heavyweight Championship was a smidgen better, although this was just as great. And some of the spots were a little slow at times, a little sleepy at times, but then they definitely picked it up. Nice cameos there by Urban Meyer and Charlie Strong. And yes, MF, I also marked when I saw Conan. Obviously, the history with him and Santana and Ortiz, when he reformed LAX and brought them in back in the Impact days and a couple of years or so ago. And, great stuff. So 4 to 4.25 or so for me. I just thought that the world title match before that was just a smidgen better. So, but a great way to end what was an amazing, amazing pay-per-view. So there isn't much more to say. Overall thoughts, and I'm going to lead it off here. This was a 9 out of 10. This was a 9 out of 10 show for me. I mean, a lot of that is mainly due to the return of the full capacity crowd, although we did get a small glimpse of that, 48 hours earlier on that special Friday night Dynamite that they had 2 days before. And it is, and according to the AEW rankings, Jungle Boy, I just found out Jungle Boy is now officially at number 1, and I believe Thunder Rosa is number 1 on the women's side. Maybe we revisit Dr. Britt and Thunder Rosa again. If it's anything like that Lights Out match, oh boy. But nonetheless, just a fantastic pay-per-view. To me, I told this to Michael Bullock when he hit me up. I think it was yesterday, maybe. But I told Bullock this, and MF, you're hearing this for the first time. To me, right now, this show is the pay-per-view of the year so far. I mean, I know we still got another half a year or so to go here in 2021, but for me, if you ask me what's been the best pay-per-view of the year so far, this one, hands down. I mean, this felt like an AEW pay-per-view, as there is nothing close to bad on the whole show, and some stuff on here is very good. The atmosphere helped it a lot, though you could feel some of the energy going away as the night went on, which was fair enough. Another great show, and while they could have trimmed a bit here or there, it is the show of the year so far. AEW continues to be nearly perfect at these things, and it definitely more than lived up to my expectations. And a lot of that, like I said, was the full capacity crowd. And if you thought Daly's Place was nuts, wait till they head to Chicago for the All Out or All In or whatever it is on Labor Day weekend, Sunday night, September the 5th. Just imagine how nuts that crowd's going to go. The first pay-per-view outside of Daly's Place since Revolution 2020. So get ready. So 9 out of 10 for me. Not much more to say. MF, let's get into your thoughts here, and then we'll move on to NXT.
Yeah, this was a 9 out of 10. I totally agree with the rating. I thought they did a really good job. Body of work with everything that went down was incredible. I don't think there's really nothing else to add here. I mean, the way that the show went down and with everything that was riding on it, no, they hit it. They hit every mark. They hit every part of the situation that they needed it to hit. They nailed, and I think it could not have been any more better than what they did. I think they really outdid themselves on this, and congrats to AEW. It was an incredible show. I don't think there's any more that we can just add on this. So with that said, we're just gonna move right on along to the next part of the show. Yes, folks, it is indeed NXT, and here we go. So, of course, NXT. Let me see. Okay. Let's see. Trying to get it here. That's the audio. All right, here we go. NXT. All right. So NXT, we started it off. All right, so this was a match between Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano, and the winner was to face Karrion Kross for the NXT title at NXT TakeOver in Your House. Well, when the match was over, the fight gets thrown out in 18 minutes and 38 seconds because Adam Cole came out and laid everybody out in the match. Mike Bullock absolutely went on a riot. I mean, he absolutely just tore up, flipping out on Adam Cole. Basically, he went Mr. William Regal. He absolutely went incensed on this one. And quite frankly, I don't blame him. This was on the verge of being at least a 4-star fight, Anthony. And Adam Cole kind of destroyed the match, basically calling the shot, saying that none of these three deserved an opportunity that he feels like he deserves to be the next in line for the NXT World title.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and Bullock hit me up on that as well. I mean, yeah, he called me up and he was very heated about what had happened. And Last time I checked, this is NXT. Are you sure this is NXT? I mean, that looked like something you would see on Monday Night Raw.
Tell me about it.
This is Monday Night Raw BS.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I mean, the finish that you saw in that bout was very, very Monday Night Raw like. I mean, this is NXT. This is the other brand. This is the alternative, if you will. I mean, what a damn shame. I mean, this thing was on its way to being all kinds of epic, and then Adam Cole had to go and ruin it. And now Adam Cole is now on Michael Bullock's hit list. So I'll tell you that right now. And I mean, what a damn shame for the way this one ended. I mean, but three of the best in NXT went all out in a triple threat that was unique in style. All three men were involved for the majority of the bout, rather than the match devolving into a series of one-on-one clashes. Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly have always had chemistry, but Johnny Gargano worked well with both men as well. At some point, we need to get Johnny wrestling versus Kyle O'Reilly and Dunne one-on-one. While Gargano has faced Dunne before, this is a very different dynamic. There was no winner in the end, which was a unique choice that in one regard made sense, but in the other regard, it made no sense. Adam Cole has been out of action for a while, but he has always felt entitled to the NXT championship. This was a setup for an even more complicated title scene, but later on, there will be a payoff out of this. If we were to give this a rating, it probably would have been about 3 3/4 to 4 stars, but because of the finish, this is obviously an NA. An NA on NXT. Yes, we've done it many times on Raw. We've done it many times on SmackDown. I think there have been times we've done it on AEW.
It's very rare for it to hit NXT. I think it's only like maybe the second or the third time that I can ever remember that an NXT match has gotten an NA rating. Very rare.
And I know Michael Bullock was and we all know Michael Bullock is Mr. NXT. He bleeds the black and gold. And
oh yeah. Oh boy, he was hopping mad. Dude, I've never seen Mike Bullock this angry. Like he literally went absolutely ballistic on Messenger. Like he was furious.
And he asked for and you asked for his permission to share his little outburst on your Twitter.
And he gave me the okay. And I fired it.
I saw it.
It's up there. It's on there.
I saw it. Yep, I know. I saw it. I liked it. So and Michael, I think he was even more pissed than Regal was.
Oh yeah.
And Regal was pissed too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you don't want I mean, you don't want to piss him off. I mean, 1 minute he'll be the the nice general manager that believes in opportunity and gives opportunities when he feels necessary, and the heart and soul of the brand and the whole 9 yards, the goodwill ambassador, if you will. But you piss him off. Oh ho ho ho. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that other Regal, the Regal that was so damn good as that nasty heel back in the day. So he'll give you the power of the punch. Yeah, don't forget that. So,
oh yeah.
So that's what I mean. I thought that's what he was gonna do. I thought he was gonna punch Cole in the mouth for a minute there. He was so enraged, and Bullock would have too. But him being like the Undertaker, he probably would have grabbed his Phenom shovel and buried somebody. So, but nonetheless, it's going to have to be an NA, even though this was on its way to being the fight of the night. So,
oh yeah,
what a damn shame. I mean, those three would have torn the damn house down if Mr. Bay didn't get involved. So, not much more to say. MF, let's move on.
All right, well, next up we had was Jake Atlas going one-on-one with LA Knight, and Jake Atlas wins the match in 9 minutes and 6 seconds. Anthony Cameron Grimes kind of caused a little bit of some trouble for LA Knight, and Jake Atlas was the beneficiary with a big win.
LA Knight has rarely. He is an entertainer who can talk his way past losses. It was still surprising for him to lose to Jake Atlas, but this was an important victory for Atlas to take. He got time and delivered in a big way. While Atlas still needs some refining in the ring, he is one of the most exciting performers NXT has. He's got the athleticism and strength to compete with anyone. Ultimately, this was about whether Cameron Grimes or LA Knight would inherit the $1 million legacy. It's worth considering, though, if Atlas may be earning his way to a surprise win in this feud. So this was a solid 3-star match for me. And at NXT TakeOver in your house, MF, we're going to see Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight. Maybe we'll find out who continues on the Hall of Famers legacy. So solid 3 stars. I could even call this sleeper fight of the night. I wasn't expecting much out of this, but boy, this definitely surpassed my expectations.
Sleeper fight of the night, no doubt about it. 3-star match. This was actually really good. Next up we had was Kushida versus Carmelo Hayes for the Cruiserweight Championship of the World. And it was Kushida winning the match. Look, isn't the greatest thing in the world, but it was still a solid match. It was still an all right fight more than anything else. I'm not going to waste too much time into this. Anthony, if you want to talk about it, we can, but I kind of want to just move right on along, if that's all right.
And what was that?
Kushida versus Carmelo Hayes.
That was not as bad as you think, MF. That was a really good match. That did exactly what it set out to do. What was the time of the fall on that one?
I actually don't have a time of the fall.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was trying to rush through it.
That's fine. To me, it was a really good match. That did exactly what it set out to do. Hayes came in as a relative unknown to most of the casual audience, and he delivered in every moment of this bout. While the Cruiserweight division has been a bit of a graveyard for talent, primarily working in 205 Live, those who have been able to get time to work NXT have gained a ton of credibility. Hayes instantly gained that with his performance against Kushida. The Cruiserweight champion has continued to elevate the title with each performance. He's a true shining light in the division and can continue to push stars to the next level like this. That was another 3-star match, MF, so let's move on.
All right, next up we had The Way. Candice LeRae and India Hartwell going up against Zoe Stark and Zeta Reimer. A non-title match. The Way wins the match in 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Anthony, quick thought?
This match had potential to be far more than it was, especially with Hartwell distracted. Instead, the champions defeated the upstart team in quick fashion. Stark and Ramir have potential as a newcomer underdog team, but they need more time, especially given the other matches on this card that got time. There was no reason this had to feel like a squash. The Way remains without challengers. Why not at least allow Stark and Ramir to push the champions before losing? 1 to 1.5. Worst fight of the night. Move on.
True. Really nothing more to say. All right, main event of the evening. Tag team titles on the line. Legado del Fantasma versus MSK. MSK wins it 15 minutes, 25 seconds. Solid main event. Good match for me, to say the very least. This was at least a 3.5 to almost 4, but more like 3 3/4. Great main event, great action, but the champions remain the champions. Anthony, quick thought.
Yeah, 3.5 to 4 stars. This was the fight of the night here, although the other match should have really been. Strong main event, but it did not quite hit the top gear these two can absolutely deliver. The repeated interference led to a match that was mostly dominated by Legado del Fantasma before MSK pulled out a sudden win. It's a shame that so much happened on the outside because this was just a few minutes away from being one of MSK's best title defenses to date. Still, it was a good win and the right team pulled it out for the long run. Carter and Lee have been absolutely electric in NXT. It's tough to say who can challenge them next. However, there are plenty of interesting options, including Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. So if it's okay with you, MF, I like to lead off on the overall thoughts because I want to give a very quick thought on last night's show.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'll try to make this as short and sweet as I possibly can. I know we're on time constraints here. Even with everything that happened, I'm still going to give this an 8 out of 10. I mean, let me see. What did I have here? Another great episode of NXT. Last week's show had the better overall match in Finn Balor and Karrion Kross, but this week's was a good combination of storyline building and matches as we get closer to TakeOver in your house. We have some pretty good to great matches being built up for the pay-per-view, and this was a chaotic, fairly unpredictable episode to build the hype for the pay-per-view. Add in a couple of great TV matches, one very good one, and a serviceable squash, and nothing to really complain about here. So to me, this was a solid 8 out of 10. MF, let's quickly put the ball on this thing. We got to go.
All right, yeah, it was an 8 out of 10, no doubt about it. This was a solid way to close the show. And that is it, guys. So, all right, so tomorrow night, we got a very special edition of Strictly Sports, hosted by Anthony Florio as usual. We got a lot to talk about. First off, we got a lot of news coming out of the NBA today. Brad Stevens, now no longer the head coach of the Boston Celtics. Danny Ainge stepped down as president of basketball operations. Brad Stevens now the new the new president of basketball operations. So we got that. Mike Krzyzewski calling it a career after next season. He's going to coach for one more year and then calls it a career in college basketball. We'll get into that. We got a lot of NHL. We're going to recap the first round, preview of the second round. And if we feel like it, we might even give our thoughts on some of the first round matches in the NBA. That's if Anthony feels like it. I'm going to leave it to him. 10:30 Eastern, as always. Thank you, Anthony Florio, as always. Thank you guys, as always. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.